Alex, I spent 20 years thinking that if a tool didn't involve a blade that could take my finger off or a spark that could set my beard on fire, it wasn't really making. Then I saw what a vat of goo and some UV light could do, and I realized I'd been living in the Stone Age.
The Stone Age? Tiger, you still use a hand plane from the 1940s. But I have to admit, seeing that little dragon come out of a puddle, it's a bit like witchcraft. Every time I see a resin print, I keep waiting for the catch. It's too smooth. Where are the layer lines? Where's the struggle?
Oh, believe me, the struggle is there. It's just moved from your biceps to your patience and your chemistry set. It's a different kind of mastery. With FDM printing, the filament stuff, it's like building a house out of tiny bricks. But resin, that's photopolymerization. It's using light to convince a liquid it wants to be a solid, one molecular layer at a time. It's basically alchemy for the modern tinkerer.
Alchemy sounds expensive and messy. I've seen your safety corner for this thing. You look like you're preparing for a biohazard outbreak every time you go near it. Is the detail really worth the hazmat suit?
Well, I did learn the hard way that liquid resin and a favorite flannel shirt are a permanent, unhappy marriage. But look at the resolution. We're talking under 50 microns. You could print the fingerprints on a figurine if you wanted to. For a guy who usually measures things in a hair past a 16th, that kind of precision is intoxicating.
Okay, let's get into the weeds then. If someone is standing in their shop, looking at that empty spot on their bench and thinking about a resin printer, where does the real work actually start? Because I know it's not just hit print and go get a coffee.
It starts in the digital world, and this is where most folks trip over the doorstep. Slicing for resin isn't like slicing for filament. You aren't just telling the machine where to go. You're managing physics. You have to orient the model at an angle, usually around 30 to 45 degrees. If you print something flat against the build plate, the suction force when the plate lifts will rip your print right off, or worse, tear your FEP film.
The FEP film? That sounds like a specialized piece of plastic I'm going to end up buying in bulk because I broke it, doesn't it?
Spot on. It's the clear bottom of the resin vat. Think of it like a drumhead. If your print sticks too hard to it, you'll hear this pop every time a layer finishes. A little pop is good. It means the layer released. A loud thunk means you're probably about to have a very long Saturday afternoon cleaning up a leak.
The dreaded leak. I've seen the forums. It looks like a blue-tinted apocalypse.
It's avoidable if you're smart about your supports. Beginners always want to use auto support and call it a day. But the computer doesn't know that a heavy part of your model is going to act like an anchor. You need to manually beef up the supports on the lowest points, the heavies, and use light supports for the delicate stuff. And here's the secret sauce. Hollow your models.
Wait, why hollow them? Wouldn't that make them weaker? I thought we wanted solid, sturdy parts.
It saves resin, sure, but more importantly, it reduces that suction I mentioned. A solid block of resin being pulled up is like trying to lift a suction cup off a glass table. But if it's hollow, the pressure eases up. Just for the love of all that is holy, put drain holes in it.
Let me guess. You forgot the drain holes once?
I made this beautiful, large architectural pillar look perfect. 3 weeks later, it literally exploded on my shelf. I trapped uncured liquid resin inside a sealed tomb. The gases expanded and boom, resin shrapnel. It looked like a miniature glitter bomb went off in my library. Now I put at least 2 holes at the base so the liquid can escape during the wash.
So, the print finishes. The machine beeps. You've got your gloves on. What's the ritual for actually getting that thing ready to show off? Because this seems to be where people lose their minds with the mess.
This is the post-processing gauntlet. First, you need a bath. Not for you, for the print. 99% isopropyl alcohol is the standard. You've got to wash away that slimy, uncured skin. If you skip this, your details will look like they've been melted under a heat lamp. Some folks use a dedicated wash station that swirls the alcohol around like a tiny jacuzzi for robots.
And after the bath, is it ready for the display case?
Not yet. It's still green. It's soft, like a half-baked cookie. You have to remove the supports next. I like to soak the model in warm water for a minute. It makes the supports pop off like dry twigs instead of scarring the surface. Then comes the final cure. You need more UV light to finish the chemical reaction. I've got a little turntable inside a UV box, but in a pinch, leaving it out on a sunny windowsill works. Just don't forget it out there, or the sun will turn it brittle enough to shatter if you sneeze on it.
It sounds like a lot of gear. Wash stations, cure stations, vats of alcohol, nitrile gloves. Are we still talking about a hobby, or are we opening a dental lab?
Funny you say that. Half the high-end resin tech actually comes from the dental and jewelry industries. But honestly, the entry fee has dropped. You can get a setup that rivals a pro shop for less than the cost of a decent table saw these days. The real cost is your workspace hygiene. You can't just do this on the kitchen table while you're eating a sandwich. You need ventilation. Resin fumes aren't exactly Alpine Breeze scented, and they'll give you a headache that feels like a mule kicked you in the temple if you aren't careful.
Okay, let's talk about the shop disaster files. You've mentioned the exploding pillar and the flannel shirt incident. What's the one mistake you see every newcomer make that drives you up the wall?
Ignoring the temperature. Resin is finicky. It likes to be warm, about 75 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. If your shop is a drafty garage in the middle of February, your resin will be thick as molasses and your prints will fail every single time. I've seen guys pull their hair out, changing every setting in the software when all they really needed was a $5 space heater or a fermentation belt around the vat to wake the resin up.
It's always the simplest thing, isn't it? We look for complex software bugs when we really just need to turn the thermostat up.
Every time. And the other one is the hidden failure. A tiny piece of a previous failed print stays in the vat, you don't see it, and then the build plate comes down for the next job and crushes that bit of plastic right through your expensive LCD screen. It's a sickening sound, a little crunch that sounds like money leaving your wallet.
I felt that in my soul. So, check the vat every single time.
Use a plastic spatula to rake the bottom. If you feel a bump, stop everything. It's worth the 2 minutes of fishing to save a $300 screen.
Before we wrap this up, I want to talk about the why. You're a woodworker at heart. You love the grain, the smell of cedar, the physical connection to the material. Does resin printing feel sterile to you? Or is there a way to bring that craftsman's touch to something that comes out of a machine?
That's a fair question. At first, I felt like a bit of a cheat. But then I realized that the print is just the beginning. The real craft is in the finishing. You can sand these parts, you can prime them, you can use weathering techniques to make resin look like rusted iron or aged bronze. I've started printing custom jigs for my woodworking that are so precise they've changed how I cut joinery. It's not replacing the hand tools, it's giving them a much smarter partner.
So it's not cheating. It's just a new way to be obsessed with the details.
Exactly. It's just another way to get the idea out of your head and onto the bench. And if you can handle a little mess and a lot of patience, the level of detail you can achieve is enough to make a grown man giddy.
Well, just keep the giddy away from the uncured resin. I'm not cleaning your beard again.
Deal. If you're going to take one thing away from today, let it be this: respect the chemistry. Resin printing is a dance between light and liquid, and as long as you keep your vat clean, your resin warm, and your drain holes open, you'll be making things you didn't think were possible in a home shop. Don't let the learning curve scare you off. The view from the top is pretty spectacular.
And maybe buy an extra box of gloves. Or two.
Make it 3. We'll see you next time in the den.